Hello, beautiful learners. Hopefully, you're doing great, and I'm also good by the grace of Almighty. Today, we are going to practice another IELTS or practice test, and today we are going to practice IELTS listening practice test 19. So, before going to start our class, just give me a few seconds to check out the sound quality and everything is good. Then I will start. Okay.
You will hear a number of different recordings, and you have to answer questions on what you hear. There'll be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played only once. The test is in 4 sections.
Okay, I hope sound is good enough and I can start the class. Let's move on. Let's listen some instruction as he was saying.
At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to your answer sheet. Now turn to section 1.
Okay, so let's read the instruction for part 1, question maybe 1 to 5. So here's the instruction for us. No more than 3 words and a number for each answer. Okay, so here first, for the first question we have, we can highlight this keyword. So this surname. Okay, maybe we're going to listen a name, so let's listen it.
Section 1. Now listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 10. Good morning. I'd like to join the library, please.
Of course. Can I just see your student card?
Here you are.
Thank you. Let me just check. Your first name is Garba, G-A-R-B-A, and your surname is Buwal, B-U-W-A-L.
That's right.
Can I just get some additional information?
So as he was saying, as she was saying, his surname B-U-W-A-L, and that's what I wrote in the blank. So let's move on to the next one. Location address, local address. Let's listen it.
From you for our database. It won't take long.
Sure.
Could I have your address, please?
Here in Newtown,
Yes.
16 Bridgeway Road.
Is Bridgeway written as one word?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Which city are you from?
So he said 16 Bridgeway Road. Yeah. So why I wrote here 16 Bridgeway Road, as because she was asking is Bridgeway is a one word, that's why it's a one word. Okay, don't be confused. So if you don't understand or you could not catch up the answer, I would suggest you to re-listen or re-watch this video again. Okay, so let's move on. So we have question 3. So date of birth we can highlight for keyword. Okay, let's listen it.
Just the city. I don't need the full address.
I'm from Lagos in Nigeria.
And your date of birth?
25th of May, 1983.
Which course are you on?
So he said 25th of May, 25th of May 1983. 83. Okay, that's why the answer would be. So don't be confused, as here it's mentioned no more than 3 words. So you are allowed to write 3 words and or you can write also a number. So here we have one word number, two word, three word, and four words. So we can say that here's a three word and this is a, oh no, this is a number. Okay, so let's move on to the question number fourth one. Course. Okay, let's highlight it. Let's listen it.
MSc Engineering.
Thank you. That's all the personal data I...
MSc May, Nigeria.
And your date of birth?
25th of May, 1983.
Which course are you on?
MSc Engineering.
He said MSc Engineering. Let me write it. C MSc Engineering. M G Engineering. Let's move on to the next one. So here's another instruction for us: no more than three words or number for each answer. So be careful. Here they mention that we are allowed to write three word and or a number. So we are allowed to almost totally four word, and here they just mentioned here you can write only three word or number. So you can just two word and one number. That means in total it will be three. Okay, be careful. So let's highlight some code for this question. How many other UK universities have libraries open 24 hours? Okay, how many other UK universities have libraries how many libraries open 4 hours? Let's listen it.
Thank you. That's all the personal data I need. Your library card will be ready tomorrow. Would you like to pick it up here or to your department?
I'll pick it up here. Could I just ask you a few questions?
Of course. What would you like to know?
I heard the library is open 24 hours a day. Is that correct?
It will be from the 1st of October, but now we're only open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. because this week is only for orientation. There are no formal classes at the university.
I see. It's very unusual to have a library that's open 24 hours.
We are only the second university in the UK to offer this service. It was instantly popular when we introduced it on the 1st of March last academic year.
Okay, so our question was how many other UK universities have libraries open 24 hours. So the lady was saying we are only the second. So other, so that means another one. So just I should write only one. Okay, before so the answer would be except this one. She said we are the second one, so that's why there is another one. That's why the answer would be one. Now let's move on to the question number 6. Let's highlight some keyword for this question. What size photocopies are available at the library? Size. Okay, let's listen it.
What facilities are available here? I missed the orientation, I'm afraid.
Well, you can see the 3 photocopiers over there by the large desk. The one nearest us is a colour copier.
How much does it cost to make copies?
5 pence for black and white and 10 pence for colour. Only A4 sized copies are available.
Only A4 sized copies are available. So the answer would be A4 size. A4. Okay. Now let's move on to the next one. How many entries are there on the library database? How many entries? Okay, let's listen.
On the other side of the room, by the windows, you can see the computers. They have a database of all our books, newspapers, magazines, and reports in the library. About 500,000 entries in all.
About half a million entries in all. Half a million. So the answer would be half a million. You can also write it in number, but I wrote it in words. Okay, so it's up to you. You can write it also in number. So let's move on to the next one. And question number 8. So here's another instruction for us. No more than 3 words for each gap. Only we are allowed to write only 3 words. Okay, it is not necessary to be blah blah on the lower floor library. Not necessary to be on lower floor library. Let's listen.
Are they connected to the internet?
No, we found that too many students wanted to use them. Besides, it's cheap and easy for students to get an internet connection in their accommodation.
Those stairs lead to the rest of the library?
Yes. On this floor, we have newspapers and magazines. Users are not required to be silent in this part of the library, but we do ask that the noise be kept to a minimum. Upstairs, there are all the books and reports.
What's that room at the end there?
You mean at the opposite end of the room to my desk? That's the video and DVD room. We have a small selection of videos and DVDs that students can view. Room at end.
What's that room?
Upstairs, we do ask that not required to be silent in this newspapers and magazines. Users are not on this floor. We have newspapers.
Stairs lead to the rest of the library?
Net connection in their accommodation.
Those stairs lead to the rest of the library?
Yes. On this floor, we have newspapers and magazines. Users are not required to be silent in this part of the library, but we do ask that the noise be kept to a minimum.
So she said user are not too required to be silent in this part of the library, but we do ask that noise be kept to a minimum. So what do you think the answer would be? The answer would be silent. Okay. Yes. No. Silent. And next we have question number 9. What is on the upper floor of the library? Okay.
Upstairs, there are all the books and reports.
What's that room?
So she said upstairs there are all books and reports. So the answer would be books and reports. Books and reports. And number 10. Okay. It is not always necessary to make an appointment to use the blah blah dash room, blah blah room. Okay.
Room at the end there.
You mean at the opposite end of the room to my desk? That's the video and DVD room. We have a small selection of videos and DVDs that students can view, but usually an appointment needs to be made in advance. However, this is not necessary if the room is not in use.
Well, thank you very much.
So they was talking about video and DVD room. Video and DVD room. Okay. Now it's all about part one. So let's move on to the part two. Here's another instruction for us. No more than 3 words and a number for each gap. Okay. So let's highlight some keyword for question number 11. Okay. Student on courses lasting over a year are usually given until blah blah to leave the country. Until, maybe we're going to listen a date, a duration. Let's
Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 20.
Hello everyone, I'm here to talk to you about extending your leave to remain in the UK. Let me just check that you are all from outside the European Economic Area. If you are from the EEA, this information does not apply to you. Okay, let's begin. The very first thing to do is to take note of the date that your entry clearance is valid until, or the date that your leave to remain in the UK will run out. This is the date when your current permission to be in the UK will expire. By this date, you should either leave the UK or extend your permission to be here. As a part of the initiative to attract more international students to the UK, many international students are now given permission to be in the UK for the full period of study. Students on courses of 12 months or more that end during the summer will usually be given permission to be in the UK until the 31st of October.
So she was saying until the 31st of October. So the answer would be 31st of October. First. 31st October. Let's move on to the next one. You should send your application blah blah before your permission expire.
Students on courses that do not follow the usual autumn to summer pattern will usually be given a period that includes 2 months at the end of the course for packing up and making arrangements to leave. However, some students are not given permission to be here for the whole of their course at the very beginning. If this has happened to you, you will have to apply for an extension of your permission to be here. Start preparing for the application about 2 months before your permission runs out.
So she was saying before your permission run out, she was saying however you should not normally take the application until 1 month before your permission run out. So the answer would be 1 month. Now let's move on to the next one. Your application must only include blah blah documents.
However, you should not normally make the application until 1 month before your permission runs out. To apply to stay longer in the UK, you must take or send certain documents to the Home Office.
So she was saying you must take or send certain documents to the Home Office. But I think this is not the answer. We should listen more.
Home Office is the name we give to what people in most other countries call the Interior Ministry. They must be the originals and not photocopies.
So the answer would be original document. As she was saying, they must be original, not photocopies. So the answer would be original. Original. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Decide which 3 things all applicants must send when extending their leave to remain. Write 3 appropriate letters in box 14 to 16 in any order. So three things applicants must send. Okay, let's listen it.
Which documents do you need to send? Your completed application form, Form FLRS, your passport and passports for each dependent if they are applying to extend their stay in the UK with you. If your passport shows that you are required to register with the police, you must also send your police registration certificate and certificates for each dependent if they are applying to extend their stay in the UK with you. You also need to send a letter from your college or university stating that you are still enrolled on a full-time course of study or that you will be beginning another one.
So first we got one and she was saying you also need to send a letter from of your college or university stating that you are still enrolled on a full-time course of study or that you will be beginning another one. So the answer would be the college or university is saying that you are on a full-time. So the answer would be D. Okay, and let's listen for another one, next one.
Bank statements covering the past 3 months or other evidence that you have enough money to continue to pay your fees and maintain yourself and any dependents. A recent passport-size photograph of yourself and similar photos of
She was saying a recent passport-size photograph of yourself. Recent passport-size photo of you, children of your child. Okay, that's a bit statement covering the first 3 months. So don't be confused, as she was saying bank statement covering the first 3 months or other evidence that you enough money to continue to pay your fees and maintain yourselves and any dependents. So bank statement covering the first 3 months, not first. So let's move on to the next one. Question number 17. No more than 3 words and a number for each answer. Okay, just keep it in your mind. So let's highlight some keyword for this question. Where can you download the FLRS application form? Well, okay, let's
of
listen.
any of your dependents aged 16 or over if they are applying to extend their stay in the UK with you. FLRS stands for Further Leave to Remain Student. To get this form, you can download it from the Home Office website or ask at your college or university.
So the answer would be Home Office website. Okay, as we are allowed to write three words, so you can write here Home Office website. Home Office website. Now let's move on to the next one. Which postal service should you use when sending your application? Which postal service? Okay. Which postal service should you use when sending your application? Let's listen.
When you are preparing to fill out the form, it is a good idea to read the guidance notes. You could also ask a student advisor or welfare officer at your institution for help. Now, where should you send your application? You can only send your application by post. Send your documents to FLRS, Immigration and Nationality Directorate, Sunshine House, 28 Wellington Road, London, W1A 2BY. Send your documents by recorded delivery and keep the receipt as well as photocopies of everything you send.
So which postal service, as she was saying, send your documents by recorded delivery. So the answer will be recorded delivery. Record recorded delivery. Okay, let's move on to the question number 19. Which organization has a 24 hours emergency line? Which organization is the word for this question? So let's listen it.
You can expect to wait at least 4 weeks and sometimes considerably longer before a decision on the application is made. I have some good news about the application deadline. According to new regulations, even if you do not have all these documents available, you must still make sure that you apply before your current permission to be in the UK expires. Enclose as many of the documents as you have and include a letter explaining what is missing, why it is missing, and when you will be able to send it to the Home Office. You will then be considered to have made your application in time. If your permission to be in the UK has already expired, contact either a student advisor or welfare officer at your college or university, or the Immigration Advisory Service on their 24-hour emergency line 011 7378 9191. Or welfare officer at your expired, contact either a student advisor or welfare officer at your college or university, or the Immigration Advisory Service on their 24-hour emergency line 011 7378 9191, or via their website www.iasuk.org.
Okay, so the answer would be The answer would be adversary service. Okay, service on their website immigration. Because as she was saying, the immigration adversary service um, on their 24 hours emergency line. Well, and she was saying a number, so the answer would be adversary service. So the answer would be, I think, the number. So we have to listen it one more time. Let's listen it one more time. I'm confused.
www.199 service on their or university. Either a student advisor to be in the UK has already expired. Contact either a student advisor or welfare officer at your college or university, or the Immigration Advisory Service on their 24-hour emergency line 011 7378 919.
Okay, she was saying the immigration adversary service on their 24 hours emergency line. So and then she was saying a number. So then number is not the agency or the organization. I think the answer would be immigration advisory service. Okay, immigration TIO immigration advisory advisory. No, adva advisory advisory service. Advisory service. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Let's find out some code for this question. How long do people have to appeal a decision? How long? How long do people have to appeal a decision? Let's listen it.
Or via their website www.iasuk.org. Please note that if you do make a late application and the application is refused, you cannot appeal against that decision. If your application was made in time, and if your application is refused, you will receive a letter from the Home Office telling you why. The letter will also tell you whether or not you have the right to appeal against the decision. If you made your original application in good time, before your current leave to remain had expired, then you should automatically be given the right to appeal. If you have the right to appeal, you will only have a few days in which to exercise this right. You should therefore ask for...
So the answer would be a few days. A few days. Okay. The answer would be a few days, as she was saying. If you have the right to appeal, you will only have a few days in which to okay. So that's all about our part two. Let's move on to the part three. So here's the another instruction for us: no more than two words for each gap. So okay, let's find out some keyword for this question. 21. Okay, the professor already knows something about Claire, uh, Clara from her. Professor already knows something about from Clara from her. So let's okay, from her, okay, let's listen it.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 21. Your name is Claire Sanders, isn't it?
That's right.
Well, Claire, as we explained in the letter, in this interview I'd like to talk about some of the things that you mentioned in your application form, such as your experience and academic background.
I see.
Now, for your undergraduate degree, you studied geography, right?
That's correct. At the Scottish National University.
You studied.
I see.
Now, such as your experience about some of the things, as we explained, Miss Claire Sanders. Good morning. Your name is Claire Sanders, isn't it?
That's right.
Well, Claire, as we explained in the letter, in this interview I'd like to talk about some of the things that you mentioned in your application form, such as...
So the answer would be from her application, as he was mentioning. Okay, so from her application okay, application form. Now let's move on to the next one. The professor wants to ask Clara about her experience and blah blah.
your experience and academic background.
I see.
Experience and academic background. So the answer would be academic background. Academic background. Academic background. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. Okay, Clara studied blah blah at at university. Okay, let's
See.
Now, for your undergraduate degree, you studied geography, right?
That's correct. At the Scottish...
Graduate degree, you ground.
I see.
Now, for your undergraduate degree, you studied geography, right?
That's correct. At the Scottish National University.
SNU is a very prestigious...
So the answer would be National University. Clark studied. No. The answer I'm got mistake. I need to listen it one more time.
Correct.
For your undergraduate degree, you studied geography, right?
Okay, the answer would be geography. Okay, geography. Geography. Now let's move on to the next one. Let's highlight some keyword for this question. Clara felt she would be more blah blah if she was further from her family.
That's correct. At the Scottish National University.
SNU is a very prestigious university. Apart from that, were there any other reasons that you chose to study there?
Well, you're correct in suggesting that the main reason I went there was due to the superior quality of the university, but there were two other reasons. The first was that it is reasonably far from my home. I wanted to be as independent as possible from my family whilst I was studying, and...
So the answer would be independent. independent. Okay, as she was saying, um, the first was that reasonable. It is reasonably for my home. I wanted to be more. I wanted to be as independent as possible from my family. So the answer would be independent. Oh, the time is up, and we have to. Okay, just give me a few sec to come back. Okay, I'm again here. Just give me a few sec to re-click each answer as we are out of time. Okay. Okay. So the last answer was independent. That's why I wrote independent. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Clara chose infrastructure as one of her blah blah optional course. Let's listen it.
Now it is decided to study
The
Livingstone project.
That's right.
Optional courses you
And geography, development issues.
focus more on the human geography side of things.
Yes, I had worked on development projects abroad for 2 summers as part of the Livingstone project. The first project was in India, and the second was in Sierra Leone.
Could you tell me the main aims of the project and how you contributed?
The Indian project was to ensure that a village had adequate supplies of fresh water and adequate sanitation. On that project, my role was to help lay pipes and put together various pieces of equipment. The project in Sierra Leone involved improving the infrastructure. And that of the second was in Sierra Leone. The first project was in India, and the summers as part of the Livingstone project. The first project
More on the human.
in addition to, and I chose infrastructure, development, statistical analysis. And I chose infrastructure, development issues, and geology in addition to those.
I see. You clearly decided.
Okay. She was saying I chose infrastructure development issues and geology in addition to those. So the answer would be I'm confused.
And geologists. These were methodology in geography and statistics. The 2 compulsory courses were methodology in geography and statistical analysis. And I chose infrastructure.
In a minute. Let me just check the optional course. I'd like to return to that in a minute. Let me just check the optional courses you took in your 3rd year.
The 2 compulsory courses were methodology in geography and statistical analysis. And I chose infrastructure, development issues, and geology in addition to those.
Okay, so the answer would be third year. Okay, as the professor was saying, let me just check the optional courses you took in your third year, and she was explaining everything. Okay, that's why the answer would be third year. Let's move on to the next one, question about 26, and let's before that we have to read this instruction. Okay, now more than 3 words for each answer. Okay, so what did Clara want to concentrate on in her studies?
I see. You clearly decided to focus more on the human geography side of things.
Yes, I had worked on development projects abroad for
Okay, the professor was saying, you clearly decide to focus more on the human geography side of thing. So the answer would be human geography. Okay, geography, human geography. Okay, and now let's listen it for question number 27. During which time of the year did she work abroad?
Side of things.
Yes, I had worked on development projects abroad for 2 summers as part of the Livingston project.
So the answer would be in summers. Okay, summers. In summer. And let's move on to the 28. What did she like? Oh, sorry. What didn't she like in India?
The first project was in India, and the second was in Sierra Leone.
Could you tell me the main aims of the project and how you contributed?
The Indian project was to ensure that a village had adequate supplies of fresh water and adequate sanitation. On that project, my role was to help lay pipes and put together various pieces of equipment. The project in Sierra Leone involved improving the infrastructure. The aim was to create rudimentary roads between villages so that they could receive aid and so that they could get agricultural products, particularly fruit and vegetables, to the capital and larger towns. My job was to help choose the best route for the roads, minimizing any impact on the environment while maximizing efficiency.
How did you find the experiences?
The Indian project was helpful in that it was my first experience abroad, and I got to see how small development projects can really make a difference. However, I found the climate, well, it was extremely hot and humid, and
So the answer would be climate. Okay. Climate. Climate. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. 29. And let's some code for this question. What did the workers have to remove to make the roads in Sierra Leone? Okay, what did worker have to remove? Let's listen it.
we were doing a lot of physical work, so it was, well, it made you appreciate air conditioning for a start. The second project, well, I enjoyed that a lot more. There was some physical work, but we had some machinery to help us clear paths through vegetation. I really enjoyed being able to put what I had learned into practice. For example, we had to choose a
Okay, she was saying help us but we had some machinery to help us clear path through vegetation. So the answer would be, well, my God, sorry. Okay, so the answer would be vegetation. Vegetation. Okay, let's move on to the next one, and let's highlight some code for this question. What master's course does Clara plan to take? Master's course. Let's
The route
listen.
on a map, first of all, according to the contours of hills and valleys. Then we had to explore the ground and check that it was really a suitable route.
And now you've decided to take a master's degree in development studies as a result. Great. Well,
So the answer would be development study. Studies, development studies. So that's all about part 3. Now let's jump into part 4 and question number 31 to 40. First, okay, here's another instruction for us: no more than 3 words for each answer. So part geography, industry. Okay, England. Let's highlight it. Geography. Okay. Mostly lowland, upland in. Let's
just have a few more questions regarding. Now listen carefully and on this introductory lecture on the geography of the United Kingdom. The UK, with a total population of over 60 million, consists of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Great Britain comprises England, Scotland and Wales. England is the largest country of the UK, with some 52 million people. It is mainly a lowland country, with some upland areas in the north and west. The capital is London, with about 7 million people.
So the answer would be England. Okay. No, I got a mistake. So okay, so here's the first one. So let's listen it one more time.
West. It is mainly a lowland of the UK, with Scotland, Britain and with a total picture on the geography. Now listen carefully. 31 to 40. Welcome to this introductory lecture on the geography of the United Kingdom. The UK, with a total population of over 60 million, consists of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Great Britain comprises England, Scotland and...
So the answer would be Great Britain. Great Britain. Great Britain.
and Northern Ireland. Great Britain comprises England, Scotland and Wales. England is the largest country of the UK, with some 52 million people. It is mainly a lowland country, with some upland areas in the north and west. The capital is London, with about 7 million.
So the answer would be north and west. as he was saying that England is the largest country of the UK, some 52 million people. It is mainly a lowland country with some upland areas in the north and west. So the answer will be north and west. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Question number 33. Mountains, lows.
People. There are many manufacturing industries, and farming is widespread, but the economy is increasingly service-based, and London is one of the world's leading centres for banking, insurance, and other financial services. High-tech industries have replaced many of the more traditional ones. In Scotland, 5 million people live in an area not much smaller than England. The country boasts vast open spaces and is one of the last areas of unspoiled natural beauty in Europe, featuring mountains, lochs, that is lakes, and glens, that is valleys.
So mountain loch means, as he was saying, it's a lake. There is a lake. There's a lake. So the answer will be lake. Okay, lakes. 34. Wells, blah blah, mountain lakes, and electronic auto parts, blah blah. Let's listen it.
Modern industries including oil, electronics and biotechnology, as well as more traditional industries such as fishing and forestry, drive the economy. The largest city is Glasgow, but the capital is Edinburgh. Wales is home to 3 million people, and its geography is characterised by coastline, mountains and lakes. Cardiff is...
So the answer will be coastland, mountain and lakes. So here mountain and lakes are mentioned, but coastland is not. So we have to write SCO. Coast, no. Coastline, okay.
is the capital and largest city. Key industries include electronics, auto components, food processing, healthcare, and professional services. More Japanese.
Okay, let's listen one more time. Here, electronics, auto parts, blah blah, healthcare, professional service.
Food processing, healthcare, and professional services.
Food services. So the answer would be food processing. So here's another instruction for us: no more than 3 words and a number for each answer. Okay, we'll just keep it in your mind. Let's highlight some code for this question. What kind of weather do many foreigners think Britain has? What kind of weather? Let's listen to it.
More Japanese companies have set up shop in Wales than anywhere else in Europe. About 1.6 million people live in Northern Ireland, the capital of which is Belfast, the largest city. Residents enjoy beautiful countryside. Many new hotels are springing up to cater for increasing numbers of tourists and business travellers. The climate in the UK is moderate. Summers are fairly cool and winters are quite mild. And despite what many foreigners believe, British weather is not rain and fog. It is actually more comfortable, more varied and more interesting than that.
So British, the question was, what kind of weather do many foreigners think Britain has? So he was saying, and despite what many foreigners believe, British weather is not rain and fog. So the answer is rain and fog. Let's move on to the next one. Which is the driest month in London?
What you can look forward to in the way of rain, sun, temperature, and even daylight depends on where you will be living. Here are some typical figures for London. January is the coldest month at 3 degrees centigrade, whilst July is the hottest at 17 degrees centigrade. Rainfall varies from 56 millimetres in April to 81 millimetres in December. Although the UK is quite small geographically, the climate varies from one area to another.
So the answer was, which is the driest month in London? And he was saying rainfall varies from 56 millimeter in April to 81 millimeter in December. So the answer would be April.
General, the West.
Which part of Britain tends to be drier?
Is wetter and milder than the east, and northern areas are noticeably cooler than southern ones. For example, compare the following temperatures with the London figures. From the east, one area to another. Though the UK is quite small geographically, the climate varies from one area to another. In general, the west is wetter and milder than the east, and northern areas.
So the answer would be east. East, okay. Now let's move on to the next one. Question 39. Why is snow usual in winter?
Areas are noticeably cooler than southern ones. For example, compare the following temperatures with the London figures. Edinburgh, 14 degrees centigrade in July, and Manchester, 15 degrees centigrade in the same month. Edinburgh, 4 degrees centigrade in January, and Manchester, 5 degrees centigrade in the same month. Parts of Scotland usually get snow in winter, whereas you might...
So the answer would be Scotland. Okay. Scotland. And let's move on to the next one. When is the weather generally most variable? When generally most variable?
live in London for several years without seeing a significant snowfall. International students who are used to tropical or equatorial climates are often intrigued by the sheer variety of the weather in the UK. Weather in the early spring tends to be especially changeable. You could be treated to rain, snow, thunder.
So he was saying weather in the early spring tends to be especially changeable. So the answer would be early spring. Spring. So we are done, and now let's okay, that's all about our part 4, and let's submit it and let's check out how much we scored. Okay, we got 8.5 out of 9. Why got 0.5 point? Okay, here's a mistake. 25th. Okay, so the answer would be 25th May 1983, but we would 25th of. So I don't think it's a mistake. I think it's a right answer. Then okay, here's another mistake. Okay, it was 21st. The answer was 21st, but we wrote 22. Okay, it's maybe it was a mistake by typing. Okay. So here we have another mistake here. Human geography, but the answer is human geography, but we wrote human geo. Oh no, it's a typing mistake. It should be R, that's why it's a mistake. It's a wrong answer. Okay, don't worry. Hope we'll practice it more carefully in the next class, and see you in the next class. That's all about our today's lesson. Bye for next